I was lucky enough to do a guest spot, talking as a guest on tours of Pentridge Jail during the weekend in the infamous H Division, which was the punishment division in Pentridge Jail from 1959 to 1994, when that part of the jail was closed. It's well known for being a very brutal, violent part of the jail, where they punished prisoners for breaking the rules in other parts of the jail, also for put you there after you escaped. There were some prisoners there because of protection. I went there 5 times, and I was only a guest on the tour. I'm doing tours this Saturday, I think at 10:30 and 2:30, and I'll be at the jail all day, and I think there's a relaunch of the book about my life, which I'll be attending at about 12:30. But what I found was the most interesting thing was just chatting with people on the tour freely, and they were asking me questions. And one guy, and I usually find that, let's say, more deep-thinking people ask me questions not so much about the jail, but about life. And one question was the suggestion he made first, and then the question was, he said, your life story is an incredible turnaround. And his next statement, he led that into a question, which was, and how did you do that? How did you turn your life around from being, let's say, in the punishment divisions of jail, so you're at the, and I can see this, at the lowest point you could possibly be in society, where you're rebelling against society, rebelling against the prison system. And I'd already spoken to him about, I'd been there 5 times in the punishment division, so therefore obviously I was a slow learner as far as following rules. And I thought about it for a minute, and I said, well, all I did was I looked at my life and the damage I'd done to other people, including my family and victims' families, and the damage I'd finally done to myself. So even I had become a victim of my own life. Everything was brought upon by myself and my decisions. So it was very easy. I had to look at myself and say, right, well, you're going to have to set rules for yourself. From now on, you're going to make decisions based on what is good. And not like good and evil, but what is good for people around you and what is good for you. And that everything you do, you should be considering the consequences for other people and yourself, and trying to do things from now on till the day you die that will be of benefit to yourself and to others. And it's as simple as that. And not bring sadness or misery to other people or your family. So you have now responsibility to stand up and be counted. Be a leader of your family. Be a leader of the people that you're involved with. Not be somebody who breaks down and causes problems for the group around you. And it was as simple as that. You say to yourself, get your act together, because you have more to offer yourself and the other people around you and society that you touch, and you owe it to these people, and you owe it to yourself to actually live up to your potential. And that's all I ever did. I just looked at myself and said, you can't keep doing this. You have no worth at all. You've let your children down, you've let your family down, you've let your mother down, and you've let society down. So do something about it. And at 70, those decisions and those thoughts go back pretty well nearly 50 years, 45 years. And today, I will die knowing that I did turn my life around. And there are people that have benefited from that decision I made a long time ago. And I used to even talk to myself about that decision. What I used to say to myself, very simple. In this world, a lot of people lie to other people and deceive other people. But if you make a decision when you make that decision, every time you slightly think or weaken on that decision, ask yourself, can you deceive and lie to yourself and go across a decision you made? So I always say to myself, you can't go back on a decision that was so important in your life. If you go back on that, you've got to lie to yourself. You've got to have no honor to yourself. Because a lot of people weaken on honor to other people. But you've got to stand firm on your honor to yourself and what you've set up as your guidelines. Because I don't really believe that people change that much. What we need to do is we just need to look at our performance in life and say, this is not good enough. And you do something about it. And you carry that to the day you die.